I guess I'm doing the introduction. Hello and welcome, and I'm hoping I'm hoping everyone who's watching is excited about this conversation as we are. We are so thrilled to be spending a month, 2 weeks for me and 2 weeks for Dee, with Indra this fall in Spain, presenting her program, The Art of Inclusive Leadership, that we will also be coaching along with her as Inclusive Agile and adding in some of our own experiences and flair to her very excellent program. Today is going to be a Q&A, ask us anything. If you are watching and you have a question, drop it in the chat as soon as you have it. We will try to answer them as we go. And when there aren't questions, we have our own list of FAQs, facts, if you will, that we will be going through.
Facts, ma'am.
Very quickly, for anyone who doesn't know me, I'm Carissa Peck. My pronouns are she, her. I'm the executive director at Inclusive Agile. We are a consultancy focusing on teaching people brilliant business processes through agile and systems thinking, and helping them build those using an inclusive culture for their business. Baked into the process of learning agile and processes. Thank you, Dee. All right, Dee, quick intro, Indra, quick intro, and then we'll get going.
I'm Dee. My pronouns, as you can see on the screen, are they and them. I am an Agile coach and VP of Inclusion here at Inclusive Agile. I'm really excited just for the ability to sit and chat with Indra. We have wildly different time zones right now. And so we are in wildly different experiences. And I'm just so excited that I still get to spend a morning with you, Indra. Here's to you.
You know, that is the new global world that we're in, isn't it? That we can make all of this work despite geographical differences. So they've already introduced me, and Carissa, thank you. That was a really lovely introduction about the program. I am Indra Books. My pronouns are she, her. I am the founder and CEO of Agility for All, and we focus on three things: leadership, teamwork and collaboration, and better ways of working. Everybody has a way of working. Better ways of working to create more inclusive, collaborative, high-performing teams. And I'm super excited that we're all going to be in the same time zone for a month.
Yeah. Oh, I've never been to Spain. So for anyone who also has never been to Spain, this will be a new experience for more than one of us. We wanted to start off with what the program is and why it's cool and why you should just sign up today. And Indra, I'm going to let you start out with that, telling about what is included in the program, what it's for, who it's for, and we'll add in as we have thoughts.
Okay. So the Art of Inclusive Leadership came about because at the beginning of the pandemic, I was teaching master classes and people were getting really, really overwhelmed with information overload, especially being online all day. And while that was normal for me because I've worked remotely for 20 years off and on, it was not normal for everybody else. And it made me really stop and think, we're not creating programs that are appropriate for everyone by forcing information down people's throats in a condensed amount of time on a Zoom call. So the first thing we did was we changed all of our programming to what we called learning journeys, which are 12 weeks, 2 hours a week, where people come and do a nugget of information, and then they have time to go back and do it on their own. That then kind of rolled into the corporate offsites because we're in a different world today. We're in a new way of working, and people are working remotely, and they're doing a lot virtually. But there is a value in bringing people together when appropriate. And I don't think that it's appropriate to bring people together just because you have an office. But it is appropriate to bring people together when they want to collaborate and share. And so that's why we created the offsites. And as someone who is just in the process of applying for their permanent residency here in Spain, because I've been here 5 years, I also want to give something back to the community that has supported me being here. So this is also a way for me to involve the local community, because we only hire and work with local vendors. We try to do 0 to 3 kilometer food whenever we can. And we really want everyone to be a part of this, because it's a very different concept for them here as well. So I think your second question was what's included. It is all inclusive except your airfare or your train, however you're arriving, your motorbike, to get here. So once you arrive in Barcelona, then everything is covered for you. So all of your accommodation, your meals, the programming, your work with the coaches, cultural activities, time out, etc. That is all included. So unless you want to go off and do something on your own that's not in the programming, which we do have time for you to have space to be your own person, everything else is included. All right, what did I miss? I feel like there was a third question that I'm not remembering.
Who's it for?
Oh, who should do this? All of you should do it. No, the who is anyone who is in a leadership position or an aspiring leader, but I feel we should clarify that. You do not need to have the title of VP of something or C something, CEO of something or whatever to be a leader. And Chris, I think yesterday when we were talking, you had a great quote about what leading means and what leadership is. But yeah, it is for anyone who has influence over anything and anyone.
Yeah, I'm one of my favorite definitions of who and what a leader is comes from my from Saint Brene in my house. My kids are sick of me quoting her. Brene Brown. But a leader, this is from, I learned it in her book, Dare to Lead, but a leader is anyone who takes responsibility for finding the potential in people and processes and has the courage to develop that potential. So this is anyone on a team that really wants to develop people around them and develop yourself. So if this is something you're hoping to grow into, more of a leadership role, this is something that you feel like you're maybe not quite ready to lead others, but you're working on it and you feel very strongly about it, you're still like, this is for you.
I would even venture to make the argument that a high-performing team is a team of leaders. They're a team that continually wants to find the potential in people and processes, right? The agile process overall is a process of leadership. It is absolutely something that I think everyone benefits from when they come in and understand this idea of how do I show up? How do other people show up? And how does the way I affect them manifest in the way that they do their work, right? All of that. And then how can I create better processes to affect that without placing blame? It's just leadership is something I think everyone actually does. And that's what actually stands out for a high performing team, right? It's not that they all know the best code and they've all done the exact right stuff before. It's that every single one of them sees potential in each other and themselves and works to build that up. So everyone should come.
Yeah. I think there's also a good point there because you had mentioned writing code. I recently had somebody say that my programs weren't for them because they don't work in tech. Wrong answer. I don't even work necessarily all the time with technology companies. I worked with an insurance company last year. I worked with a financial institution. So leadership is everywhere. I think we get wrapped around the word agile in both of our business names, and people think, oh, that's a software thing, or that's a tech thing, or that's an IT thing. So I want to just get that one, just push that one right into the bin right now, that leadership is leadership is leadership, and this is for every sector. It is not industry specific, and my work never will be.
Same with ours. Absolutely, same with ours. Yeah, we feel really strongly about this, even to the point of working on programs that are agile for even solopreneurs, right? Like that you can improve your processes in any industry by thinking about systems thinking and how to break down your work and all of the beautiful things that Agile teaches us. This brings up a point that we had talked about yesterday, Indra. I think we should also cover what this is not. So people have an expectation of what they will not be in this program.
So I think it's really important for us to differentiate between leadership and management. And this is about building leaders. Leaders are people. They are not things. They are not processes. So this is about who you are, who you want to be, how other people see you, how what you do impacts those other people, how you want to navigate that world of leadership. What it is not is, how do I get people to read my memos? How do I get people to, fill out their timesheets correctly? It's not about management. It's not about writing reports and filling out forms and doing, dashboards of information. It is not about that. Those are management processes that are individual to every organization, and we could not possibly teach you how to do it. We can teach you fundamentals, but we can't address what's happening in your organization. But if you come to this program, you're going to come out of it a stronger person that is better equipped to navigate all of those things as a leader.
I love that. And I think also maybe the agile in our titles of our companies might also pull people into a belief that this is about being agile. We will touch on agile topics and some thinking as we go through the leadership, but this is not about how to be agile. This is not about learning a framework. This is not about how to improve processes at your business, but all three of us would love to help you with those things too. Yeah. So this would not be the right program for you if you're trying to learn business agility or technical agility or level up your team's ability to deliver via
that's a different program.
Different program, but reach out to us because we love that.
We have those programs.
Just that's not what this is. Yeah. And we're now in the UK and here, or EU and here. So we're global-ish now.
We are also in Africa as well. So
okay, we got
things happening globally, and we do have programs for that, and they can be done also as offsites or as online virtual training as well. We have that, but that's not what this is. This is about developing people as leaders to be able to contribute in a safe, inclusive manner for everyone.
Awesome. Dee, did you want to add anything to that before we move on to maybe some more logistics and nitty-gritty?
No, I think you two have covered it so well, and you let me go on and on about leaders for a minute. So let's keep moving.
Okay, so
for everybody.
Indra, will you walk us through the format? Like, we have 4 weeks of this, when to when, those kind of things. Who can come on what weeks?
Yes. So as of right now, subject to change based on the interest that we get, the first 2 weeks, the first one starts the 17th of September. That is a Sunday. The second one starts the 24th of September. That is a Sunday. Do you see a pattern emerging here? Those 2 weeks currently are open to the public. So what that means is anyone can go onto the website and register themselves, or their company with the company credit card can register them to come as an individual. They do not need to come with their entire cast of characters from their company. The second 2 weeks, which are the first 2 weeks in October, we have those right now reserved for any organization that wants to bring 10 people and work together on their leadership skills. If we have so many people stampeding to the site after this Q&A, because we have done an amazing job of convincing you that you need to attend and you get to come spend time with me in Spain, we will consider, if we don't already have those 2 weeks in October booked, we will consider rolling another one into the public opening.
Fantastic. I love that. So it goes from Sunday to Saturday. Sunday is a intro, get acclimated kind of day. Yep. It's not an instruction day. And same with Saturday, right? Saturday is like get out of town day.
It was nice seeing you. Hugs and kisses. You've got to go. The bus is waiting. Yeah.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay
have to go home, but you can't stay here because there's another group coming that we want to embrace with our love and enthusiasm.
And we'll need a little bit of a rest between.
And we're going to need 2 hours. Got it. We're going to need those 2 hours to recharge. Whew, we only get 2, but we're going to need them.
Now, we will not stop you from joining 2 weeks if you really want to do so.
Yeah.
But I think that would be more because you just really like hanging out with us. You
Yeah,
should get a
because we're that
ton of
cool,
value out of
and the
that.
view of the sea and the beach is that amazing that you're going to want to stay. Yeah.
I love what we started touching a little bit on the rest component, like kind of joking about us needing rest in between. But that brings up another topic for me, which is some of the accessibility and accommodation questions that we sometimes get. Where would you guys like to start with that? Dee, would you like to start talking about what you researched yesterday? Because I am so happy about that.
Yes. Yeah. So a little context there.
Mhm.
My pronouns are they and them, so that does mean I'm trans, or identify as trans. I identify as non-binary, and that means ultimately in this context there are certain areas that are not safe for me. Right? I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's just the way that the world is right now. And there are a lot of ways that different places create limits or benefits for people in traditionally excluded demographics. When we were approached about working in Spain, that was my first worry. Am I going to be able to go? Right? Can I actually show up to this place and be able to feel safe? So I started doing some Googling, and it turns out Spain has been listed as one of the top safest places, or the top safest places for women traveling alone. It is also very, very safe for LGBTQ people, with a lot of support there. And so you should find they have a number of systems also as a social, more socially progressive country that can support people while you're there, right? It's definitely a lot stronger of a community kind of place. So that will be really, really exciting. Also know, no matter who you are, what your beliefs are, that welcome goes to everybody, right? Um, uh, as long as everyone is tolerant of everyone, then we all get to be good. And that means not tolerating intolerance. Let's be real. So Spain is a country with lots of people. So it's not, I'm not gonna be able to say you're not gonna have a bad experience, because we have them all over, right? People are people and they're having bad days and they do stupid things. But I'm really excited to know that I can show up, and if I need to, I can call the police. And I know that I'll be supported as I am. And I won't have to worry about if I need to get changed first.
It is
Thank you.
not perfect here, but there has been, especially in the last couple of years, a lot of effort in the direction of, violence against women, just different policies and procedures put in place for marginalized groups. And I'm excited about that because we're seeing the opposite in other parts of the world. And as Dee said, it's not perfect. And people do not always show up as their best selves, as all of us have not shown up as our best selves, from time to time. But and you may experience microaggressions. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. People are going to come from the place that they start in. But in general, this is a very safe and inclusive place to be.
And don't take our word for it. Do your own
Just
research,
come and do
right?
your own research.
Because it is important to recognize that when you feel physically safe in a space, it becomes a lot easier to become psychologically safe in that space too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, I kind of say the second one's almost impossible with the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the Maslow's hierarchy, right? Like you can't get to that.
You can't have one without the other. Yeah.
The physical safety
Yeah.
is required.
Let's talk about the accessibility piece for a minute as well, because I think that is very important. Spain is a European country. It is old. And because of that, things are not always as accessible as we would like them to be. I always give people the example, if you've ever been to New York City and you've tried to navigate the subway, if you aren't able to move up and down stairs, that becomes very, very difficult. So here, very much like New York, if renovations and construction have not been done on a building, they don't have a mandate to make that building accessible according to the current regulations. Because of that, we really go out of our way to make sure that the places that we're picking, not just for your accommodation, but for the program, for the activities, and for dinners, etc., are accessible. But when you sign up, there is a registration form. And it is really, really important for us to give you the best experience possible for you to disclose things we need to know. Do not disclose something you're not comfortable telling us, but if I don't know about it, I can't mitigate anything that could come up. So if you're one of these people, oh, I'm vegetarian, but I don't really like to make a big deal of it because I don't want people to fuss, you need to tell me. I have to be able to address that. If you have mobility issues and we need to be sure that you have a chair that's comfortable or a shower that's walk-in, I'm right there with you, but I need to know about it.
We want to take care of it.
Yeah, if you have a problem with strobe lights, okay, we're not going to the disco, but that we have one. Okay, you, Carissa, can go to the disco instead of your 2 hours of rest time. Okay, we're not going to the disco as part of the programming, but that reaction that you have to strobe lights could be important to us because maybe we're showing a video that has something flash in it that could be sensitive. So share what you think we need to know to make your experience the best thing possible. I will give you an example. I am a diabetic. I have that thing so well managed that this morning I was at the medical center and I had to tell them what to do, okay, because I know what I need. However, that is important information for someone to know who is running a program. Not because I need you to check in with me every 10 seconds and say, are you okay? How's your blood sugar? Have you checked it? What do you need? Do you need a candy? No, not because I need that, but because in an emergency, that is important information to know. Yeah. So yes, we will do our very best. In fact, I had lunch today with our driver who does the transportation. And I said to him, look, once we're getting a good handle on who's attending each of the weeks, you and I have work to do. We've got to go double check these locations and make sure that they are accessible for our guests for each week. That was a really teachable moment for him because he got the part about like being able to roll in off the street if you can't walk upstairs, being able to walk or being wheelchair accessible, but he didn't think about a lot of the other things. And that was a really good teachable moment as well. And he was actually thankful to learn those things.
Thank you. Thank you. And you also gave me some context around the work you've done to make this sustainable.
Mm-hmm. I don't have control over properties and what they do, but I do have conversations with them about the fact that we do not support throwaway single-use plastic bottles, for example. To me, that's one of the simplest things to remove from your practices and become more sustainable. None of us are going to die if we have to fill up a cup and put water in it, right? We're not. The water here is safe, by the way, and filtered in the hotel. So to answer that question, the water is perfectly safe to drink. It might taste different than what you're used to, but it is perfectly safe to drink. I'm drinking it right now. But we have worked with them on, looking for restaurants that are using local food, that are using local vendors, that are partnering with local companies for their products. And that's important to us. If you have a penchant for Perrier water, that's really sweet. But I would prefer that your sparkling water came from San Aniol, which is down the street.
Fantastic.
As an example. Yeah. By down the street, I mean about 50 kilometers, but yeah.
But supporting the local economy rather than going outside of it is one of the goals that you've had in setting up these. Yes,
it's very important to us.
Awesome.
Fantastic. I love that. Okay. We wanted this to run to about a half an hour. I don't see any specific questions in the chat. If somebody's listening and wants to ask a question, now is the time. Dee and Indra, what other topics? I'm looking at kind of our list. What other things?
I think a couple of logistical things might help people.
Beautiful. Let's do that.
I kind of flew past it. That was pun intended. I kind of flew past it when I was talking earlier, but the airport, the major airport is Barcelona. If you're coming from within Europe or the UK, Girona might also be actually more cost effective for you to get there. That's why when you fill out your registration form, it's really important you provide us with your flight details if you haven't made them yet, because obviously you're just at the registration form, that you get those to us, and we need to have them at least 72 hours in advance, which we cover in the welcome information, but so that we can make sure that either we are picking you up at the airport or we have made other arrangements for you to get to the property. Second, logistics. The property is not in Barcelona center city. It is in a town called Caldes d'Estrac, which is about 40 kilometers an hour by train outside of Barcelona in Barcelona province. It is train accessible. The property is walkable from the station, or you can be picked up if that's how you choose to get here as well. But that's important for people to know, because people get very easily confused when they see the word Barcelona, that they think they're going to be hanging out near, the football stadium, and that is not going to happen. So that's a logistics question. I've had people ask, can I come a couple days early? You can do whatever your heart and wants to do, but it's just kind of like Dee said, you don't have to go, but you can't stay here. You also can't stay at the property prior to the event, because we have booked the rooms for our events and our dates. You are welcome to contact the hotel directly and see if they have availability for dates outside of your event dates, and that's an arrangement you would make with them. It would not be tied to any pricing or arrangements that we have with them, and you may be asked to move rooms when the event starts. I mentioned the train, weather and clothing. People always ask this. I'm in a group called Travel Spain. If you want to see what happens here in Spain, it's on Facebook. It's an interesting group to join, but also some interesting questions. One of the things that comes up the most often is, how should I dress to look like I fit in, to look like a Spaniard? Let's just put that one to bed right now. You won't, you can't, don't try. Come and be comfortable. It's just because we buy our clothes at different places, and they're built differently, and they have different aesthetic, and it's okay. Where would you want to wear? The event is casual. There's not a dress code. We're in a beach area, so it's even more casual than in the city. I've had people say, oh no, but Spanish people don't wear sneakers or trainers. Yeah, we do every day. I've had to actually take pictures on the train of every single person wearing sneakers or trainers just to prove it. Jeans, yep, wear those too every single day. So, come as you are. We ask that you don't wear, shirts that have like what could be deemed offensive language or, questionable. It is a business event after all, but you do not need to come in, suit and tie, or khakis and a shirt and tie, or button downs or whatever. You don't need to do any of that stuff. Just dress how you're comfortable, because we're going to be spending a lot of time together. The weather in September is still, I'm not going to be able to do this in Fahrenheit, is still pretty warm. I would say at night it probably gets down to 60. Maybe I'm trying to calculate Celsius and Fahrenheit in my head. And during the day it can get up to as much as 75 or 80. We are not in the south where it's hotter than Hades all the time. It does cool off here, but it's very, very humid. So natural fabrics are always your best friend, and layers are always your best friend. So just keep that in mind. When I first moved here from DC, I thought nobody could top the humidity in DC, and boy, was I wrong. It's not even as hot here. It's just that humidity lingers. It'll be 80, 85. Today it's 80% humidity. There will be no rain. Mm. So it's important to realize that. And of course, check the forecast. We have these global apps now where they tell you what the weather is wherever you're going. Check them, because we all have different tolerances to heat and cold based on where we come from and who we are as people. But layers are your friends.
Fantastic. We are just about out of time.
Yep,
any last thoughts? Dee, go.
I do. I'm pulling us back to a previous topic and I'll pop it back off the stack. And that's accessibility and accommodations. Mm-hmm. we also understand that there are different sort of accommodations and accessibility needs for non-visible disabilities. All of Inclusive Agile, we are all neurodiverse in different ways and need to actually experience the world differently, each of us. And so we will make sure that we have quiet rooms. We will make sure that whatever you need, right? I don't know if we'll be able to find you your own or find you noise canceling headphones if you need them, but we'll certainly do whatever we can to help out.
Yeah. And the agenda is also set up that it's not like a forced march through material. There's lots of time for people to learn in different ways. There's times when we're all together. There's times when we say, you know what, you have your instruction. You do you. If you want to work on it by yourself, go by yourself. If you want to go outside and sit on the beach and do it, go do that. If you want to work with a partner because two of you have really clicked and we have a lot of variety in the way that we're presenting information and how you're working through it. And we are adults. If you need a break, just do what you need to do. And as Dee mentioned, we're all coming from very neurodiverse, lifestyles ourselves and having to live in that space that we're in. And I think I'm probably the oldest in the group here, but I didn't grow up in an environment where those accommodations were in place. Yeah, we'll challenge that later, Carissa. But I will be turning 54 just after our event. So, Dee, close your mouth. It's not attractive.
Yes, it is.
But we have kept that in mind when putting the programming together. But again, if you need something very specific, please tell us so that we can anticipate it. And we also do a pre-event for you to get to know each other. And as part of that, we give you homework to create a poster, if you will, a virtual poster called Who Am I? And in that, we give you space to put, what do you need to know about working with me? And that's your space to share with the group as much as you want about how you learn best and what is going to help you get the most out of the program.
Fantastic. Okay, as we wrap up, Indra, I think you had an announcement you wanted to make.
I did have a teeny tiny little announcement. And, I love that the people behind the scenes listening to this are anonymous because now I don't know really who's going to get this information. But we have created an offer code. It's LinkedIn offer, all uppercase. Oh, Darren is brilliant. LinkedIn offer, all uppercase. And that will get you a little teeny bit of a discount because you came to this Q&A today to hear what we have to offer. And that is only good until the 16th. So it's good for 10 days. Because we want to get that out and leave everything open for other people. So if you are interested, you can take advantage of that. Also, if you've listened to all of this and you're not convinced that we are the most wonderful people that you ever want to work with here in Spain, and you still have questions, please take advantage of scheduling a call with me so we can go through those, or send any of us a direct message with those questions so we can get any concerns or questions you have answered. And we do, when you register, have a very comprehensive welcome package where you get loads more information than what we cover on this call.
Fantastic. Okay. That's all the time we have then. So let's end it there. Thank you, Indra. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm so incredibly excited.
It's exciting, and I love fall in Spain. It's amazing. So come join us.
Sure, I will too.
Okay.
Bye, everybody.
All right. Bye, everybody.